Welcome in to another edition of the Cavalier Connection. I'm your host, Jeff, joined tonight, as always, by Jay. And real quick, before we get started, Jay, I just want to talk to everybody. Tonight's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Mincers. If you're looking for well designed and high quality UVA sportswear, Mincers is your place. My get up tonight, my sweet hat from Mincers. Jay has the sweet UVA baseball hat from Mincers, along with the Tony Bennett Five Pillars shirt.
Five Pillars, 1186, road to Omaha, 1186 miles, Charlottesville to Omaha, the
Sweet
adopted
shirt.
term there.
Oh yeah. And also, Mincers offers new orange tag sales weekly. You don't want to miss out. This Nike Who's T-shirt I'm wearing right now was one of those orange tag deals. So check them out. If you want to up your UVA sportswear game, go to Mincers.com or visit one of their two locations at the corner in Charlottesville or in the Stonefield Shopping Center, where there's plenty of free parking. Mincers has been the leader in UVA sportswear now for over 75 years. Check them out today. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit basketball. Virginia got on the winning side last night with their win over Miami. We're going to talk, and then we're going to talk a little baseball. Exciting time. Jay and I are both baseball guys. We grew up baseball. Now our kids are playing baseball, and so we'll talk a little baseball. So Jay, I didn't get a chance to check in on you. How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm running around ragged, getting ready for a trip this weekend that we're making for the son's dojo. He's going to be performing in Atlantic City, so we're hitting the road Saturday morning. He had practice tonight for that, and then my parents came. We went out to dinner, so I walked in the door about 8:21.
Yeah. We run a tight ship at the Cavalier Connection. Jay, you got in at 8:21, and I was hitting him with message. Jay, you got 9 minutes. You got 5 minutes. Get your rear end on here, and he made it. We got Kids Dojo in Atlantic City. People are wondering, is there a sports book situation that where people can bet on Kids Dojo? And are we putting our money on the youngin?
Yeah, there'll probably be a lot of people there that might take a little side action. You know what I mean? I don't think they'll officially put it on the books yet, but
yeah,
I'm sure you could find somebody to lay something down with. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, well, you always can. Don't come back. Don't bet your hat or your shirt or anything.
Oh no,
going
but
in
I
there
do
trying
plan
to
to
win
rock
those.
the jersey. It's Virginia Tech Day. Always a big day when we play Virginia Tech in one of the major, sports, and so I plan to be in the orange jersey, rocking that. Might even have this on again as an undershirt, rocking through Atlantic City, letting everybody know the deal, and representing the Who's with style from for my friend at Mincers.
Well, we are. Hopefully, you'll be able to join up with the Locker Room Access post game.
I'm
On
hoping
their podcast after the Tech game, and with the crew there, and I'm gonna rock my orange UVA jersey, basketball jersey. I'm debating if I want to put the sleeves on or if I'm gonna show the guns because
Dougie Fresh will like it. Dougie Fresh would definitely like it.
Dougie Fresh. I need to put the hat on backwards. Put me a pair of glasses on, Dougie. I hope you're listening. Put the glasses on. Put the hat on backwards. Go with the sleeveless basketball jersey, but my white arms might blind everybody. So. But the Who's last night, 82 points, 40 in the first half, 42 in the second half. It's nothing about get you right in playing Miami, and we were 1-point underdogs going into Miami to a team that was 0-9 and 4-16, I think, coming into that game.
That's correct. 4-16 overall coming in.
And we played that game minus Elijah Saunders, minus Andrew Rohde. But there were shows put on by 3 guys in my opinion. But Jay, any thoughts from that game?
Yeah, pleasantly surprised at the outcome, to be honest. Like, it shows Vegas kind of knows a lot of things. I think Miami was a favorite going in, and while they were wrong, if you kind of saw that, and because that's a fishy line, but it was fishy because somebody in Vegas knew Saunders and Rhodey probably weren't playing. You
Right.
know, because I didn't know that. And so I don't know when others found out, if it was pregame warmups, if it was that late. But losing those 2 key guys, you had to wonder how they were going to play, and they were very impressive last night. I don't think it's anything prescriptive that you're going to see carry forward. I think it was one really, really bad team in Miami, and a team that is trying not to be really, really bad. They try hard. At times last night we did look good, but then there were times, they cut the lead down to 3 in the second half, and I'm thinking, or we were texting, and I'm like, this team's awful. Miami is just awful. And yet here we were, a 3-point game, in the second half, and thankfully the guys righted the ship, made some shots down the stretch, got hot again, and pulled away, made it not competitive there at the end. But IMAC, great game. Like to see him hunting his shot. Seemed like he did a better job last night of really taking the shots that were there. I want to say he finished with 17 shots. I don't have the stats up.
You're right. 17 shots, 12 3-point attempts.
Yeah, I mean that's that should be his averages. I
Yep.
don't know. I think he's probably nowhere near that, but that's where he needs to be on average. And some of that, is because of Saunders and Rhodey missing. I'm sure he felt like, hey, I've got his shoulder a little bit more of a load. But Tane is obviously one of the 3 guys you're talking about. Tane got 20, which I think was a career high, if I'm not mistaken. Do we want to talk about that tweet now or save it for a little bit?
We'll get to it in a minute, but
Okay.
I mean,
So the
Tane,
third
definitely.
player, Jeff, who you got?
Blake Buchanan.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Blake Buchanan, he had 16 and 9, 6 of 8. The
Yeah.
one thing is, we weren't high on Buchanan throughout the season, but I will say this: over the last several games, that guy's really playing hard out there, and he's put up some performances.
Yeah, I think 4 out of the last 5 have been
Yeah.
really strong efforts.
Yep. I mean, no, that's the Buchanan I was expecting to get this year, actually. So, I gotta give him the props where the props are due.
Jeff, before we go any further, I just want to say, if people are watching or they're out there, tell us what your thoughts were on the game. We'll chop it up. We'll talk about your comments, and if there's any questions you guys had from the game last night or moving forward, we'd be happy to talk about it. We're going to talk about some things that have been going on the social media side of basketball, and hopefully, some of you guys will chime in.
Yeah, and so I was listening to Locker Room Access as we were just talking about that. Dougie Fresh. I don't know if you heard any of this. He was at the Virginia Notre Dame game.
I did not get to.
I watched the
listen.
game. I don't know how I missed him. He said he was sitting. He said he was sitting behind. He had a bunch of seats actually, sitting behind the bench.
Okay.
He's big time. And I was looking for the basketball jersey, and I don't know. But he went to practice on Friday, I guess, before the game, and just being around the guys. He said a couple things where this team definitely is not quit. They're playing hard for Coach Sanchez. They have a good energy about them. They do sometimes, of course. He said, as we see it on TV, when the game's getting out of hand, the interest in the game can start to fade. But the
Right.
guys are still playing hard for Coach Sanchez. So it was just interesting to hear. He's talking about the practice, and so yeah. So we'll take it for what it's worth.
I was gonna say, I really want to make sure I'm on that Saturday and get to hang out and chat with those guys, because I enjoy their stuff. I didn't get to listen to last night's post game yet. I did get in on Ball Hawks show today for a little bit. Had a little interaction with Ball Hawk. Gave my opinion on a couple. One, he gave a couple topics. I had to get out before I could get to the second topic, but good to chop it up with those guys on his show today.
What were y'all discussing? I couldn't get in.
The grade for the transfer portal. What
Okay.
grade did you give for the transfer portal and why? Um, I gave an A minus. Most of the grades were B pluses, B's. One guy said B plus, A minus. So I think I was the highest of what I heard, unless somebody came one after me. But
You're drinking the Kool-Aid.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid big time.
And here you are back at Scott Stadium tonight, I see.
Yes, I'm living the dream inside the box at Scott Stadium, and it's probably it's like my Disney World, the happiest place on earth.
They got to get you out of there. This is ridiculous. I mean, we got a homeless man living in Scott Stadium. He's sleeping underneath the tables up there and hiding out, and then coming on doing a podcast. They
We're
got
gonna
the
have
field
somebody
lit up
coming
for
up
you.
saying, "Still not listening."
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, so who's gonna win 82-71? They're fighting their guts out trying to make the ACC tournament this year. And God knows, I really hope they can get in that ACC tournament. I can't even imagine. I mean, we've never not been in the ACC tournament. I just can't even imagine not being a part of that. Not being able to
Yeah.
turn on the ACC tournament and watch a Virginia basketball game. As bad as the season has been, I'm still tuned in.
For
I'm
sure.
tuned in. I'm not gonna miss a game, and I'm right there rooting for the team. So
Jeff, we could be this year's NC State.
there you go. There you go.
Why
Neither,
not Virginia?
why
Why
not
not
us?
Virginia?
Yeah, why
I can
not us?
answer that question for you, but I won't.
Don't answer that question. Come on now. But yeah, so let's see here. The Bliss. We got a comment. We listen, folks. We get excited to see a comment come in. I'm gonna pop it up here. The Bliss situation is infuriating. I hope to God we're not paying him. Did, you know, when we talked to Lo Davis, this was a question that we brought up, with no names, but I know, Bliss is one that comes to mind about guys and their, are they getting paid if they're not actually playing? And he
Right.
said it's kind of a deal out there. The way it made it sound to me is it's a no. Is that how you took that, Jay?
Yeah, I think they have to meet their, kind of contractual obligations now because he's injured and
Right.
not leaving. I think that muddies the water a little bit. Right. It's very questionable. And I don't think he's not one of those guys we brought in necessarily, from the portal. So he came here out of high school.
Right.
And actually, he redshirted last year, and the year before that, I don't think the NIL stuff was as big then. So if he's getting paid, and I'm sure he's probably getting something, it's probably not
Not a whole
what
lot.
you would expect.
But he's getting
Not
a
nothing
free
huge.
he's getting a free education right now, so and it is disappointing. It's just disappointing. I don't know what else to say about it.
It's
Uh,
extremely disappointing because we all thought he would help the team this year, except for
yeah.
me. I have said
Well,
all along, Christian Bliss is not a real person.
right,
He's the
but before
Bigfoot
this
of UVA basketball. He does not exist. He's never been seen in the wild. He's
but
only
before the
been seen in the
season
tame of
started,
practice.
that's not what the thoughts were. We thought he was going to help the team, especially when Worley transferred. I was like, well, we're going to get to see Bliss. 'Cause I was
And
worried
he
about.
participated in the blue-white game.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, so then during the game last night, I'm gonna share this tweet right here with you guys. Oh gosh, it's kind of hard to see,
Can we
but
make that bigger? Can we
I
blow
don't
it
know
up
how
or
to.
no?
I thought I have it. Let's take a look. See if I can blow this up for you guys. It's not gonna blow it up. I'm gonna read it to you because if I blow it up, it's just gonna show the video. Any of you, this is from Elijah Saunders' father, and it's the video. The video there is of Tane Murray. And it says, any of you ever played in a basketball game where you knew you were needed and you had the freedom to just hoop, never looking over your shoulder, just hooping? It's an awesome feeling. Great team win. Tane, you were great tonight. Let's go at UVA men's hoops. So Yeah. Thoughts on that, Jay?
Well, it makes you wonder, like, what is he trying to really what is the message there?
Right.
And to me, what I'm getting from that, Jeff, is that um there's probably some sentiment on the team that guys are finding it hard to get into a rhythm because they're not playing enough minutes consistently. Um and especially with Tane, he's kind of been inconsistent as a player, you know.
Right. Right.
Going back to his, I mean, you think back even to, like, I think his first year, he had a game where he had like 14.
Yep.
And he started getting minutes all the way back in his
Mhm.
first year.
He missed foul shots in that game that cost us the game, but go ahead.
Yes, correct. And yes.
But he brought us
And then
back in that game too.
he did that again this year.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's just some frustration there with the coaching staff coming through. Is all I can think. I mean, it obviously wasn't directed at Elijah's playing time because he was out last night. So,
Right.
um,
But is
I just think
Elijah? Yeah, I'd say is Elijah looking over his shoulder all the time? Is that does
right.
it mean right?
Is that what he's saying? Which is kind of what made me put up the poll that I put out there on X today. I'm trying to pull it up now so I can see the
I got
most
it
up to
pulled up
date
here.
results.
I just pulled it up. It's not easy to see, but
I
the
was gonna say
poll question
I wasn't
was
even gonna post it. I was just gonna read. If you want to read it and talk
yeah.
them.
Is that UVA men's hoops better playing a short bench so guys get into a good rhythm or playing 10 plus guys for rest and gaining experience? Right now we've got 30 votes. 63.3% say short bench, 36.7 say play 10 plus. Um, so that's kind of where our results are. I was going to read
Yeah, what are
some.
your thoughts on that, Joe?
I've always been a guy who says played a shorter bench to get the rhythm. With this team, uh, if I think somebody kind of put this in there in the comments, I had seen, and I think they said somewhere in the middle, but you know, this team isn't going anywhere. So, getting playing experience for guys who potentially may come back next year. I don't know. I guess it doesn't hurt. Uh, but Cole Cash 42 said, "I say play 10. It truly messes with the flow and consistency, but the season is shot." That's what I was kind of what I was mentioning, um, because when you play 10 players, you can't get into any kind of a rhythm.
Right.
And Coach Bennett always his benches were always shrunk down to 7 or 8. But this team has been so bad. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Jay?
Yeah, it's you got to have a little bit of context. I mean, I think I'm more of a like a 8 rotation guy. Give me a big, a guard, and a forward. That you feel good about playing.
Right.
But with the current roster construction and the guys that you've got, and just the way that, unfortunately, we've talked about this, you have to look at every year as its own entity. And so if you have 10 guys that you're playing, you've got about 8 of those 10 probably aren't really happy with their role
Mm-hmm.
because everybody wants to play big minutes, because everybody thinks that they should play big minutes. And when you're playing all these guys 10 minutes, 15 minutes, your big guys are getting maybe 30 to 32, occasionally more than that, but um, it may help you to stay fresh physically, but the trade-off that you're giving, with the just the lack of consistency is and you think about when you watch an NBA game, if you have a favorite team that you follow, if you watch them, you'll see like they're very consistent in the regular season with their minutes. It doesn't matter what the score is.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what the situation. Like at the 7-minute mark, this guy's going in. He's coming out at the 1-minute mark of the quarter, or
Right.
whatever it may be, because they want those guys to have defined roles. And defined roles I think guys want. It's just when you're playing 10 guys, the defined role that you have is not necessarily enough. And so and the thing is, we haven't even been consistent with the roles. Like you look at Tane, he played 3 minutes against Louisville, and I know we had two good, contributors out last night, but from 2 to what 36 or something, so or 3 to 36. It's just not a lot of consistency, even in some of our guys that are playing.
But even with Tane, he's had games where he's played 30, and then like you said, games where he hardly stepped on the court. And it's almost like I guess it's just whatever if you have like next game, I'm sure Tane he's staring down 30 some minutes and he'll probably
Right.
score 2 because he was hot in this one. But yeah, no, I don't believe you can get in any kind of rhythm with 10. But like for me, the season's shot. So
And like you
but
said, you make a bad pass, or God knows if your day Ames early in the year, you have one turnover and you hear the horn go off, just
yeah,
go ahead and turn around because
yep.
it's you.
Yep. Yeah. No. So well, that's kind of the poll that's sitting out there. If you haven't laid a vote in there, go ahead and lay a vote. This all goes back to UVA men's hoops, so they're very interested in what the Cavalier Connections poll says. So make sure you get that vote in.
Yeah, get that vote in.
But moving on real quick here, I did want to talk a little baseball. You know, it's this team. If it's loaded, it's loaded.
It is so
This is
loaded.
the best Virginia team I feel like I've ever seen, and that batting order is, I mean, top to bottom, it's just brutal for opposing pitching staff. So, Jay, any initial thoughts on baseball? We're right around the corner here.
Are we going to show that 4-minute clip?
Oh, I don't have it ready for us.
Okay.
I potentially could get it up and ready if you want to talk. I can get it ready for us. I do have.
Well, no, we can't. Never mind. Yeah, I mean, so we're very lucky to have a guest coming on. Well-known former Virginia pitcher, and in college baseball, he's like he's all over the place. He's games all over the place, all the time. Steven, and I don't want to say his last name wrong. Is it Scott Shock?
It's crazy you say that. I was feeling the same way. Right before you came in, I meant to go in. I was gonna verify my pronunciation on that.
Yeah, but so he is probably like the number one college baseball, like I would say like the new college baseball kind of guru.
Right.
Former Virginia pitcher, if you remember. Anyway, we're going to have him on, and he did a preview of this year's Virginia team. And it's a pretty short clip, about 4 minutes, but it kind of introduces you to everybody we had. I mean, I can talk about, our All-American. We got 3 guys that are preseason All-Americans.
We got 4 actually.
Is it 4?
Yeah,
Okay.
Godbout is a first team. Ferenc is first team. Blanco's second, and Arrojo is third.
Yeah. I didn't even know Blanco got named. That's the one I was missing.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got so much depth. I mean, this Arroyo kid, they're saying he could be the Sunday starter, as well as the everyday first baseman when he's not pitching. Which moved our man Ford out to, I believe, right field. We've got the Western Branch smasher Harrison Didewick back in left. One of my favorite players, the kid out of Lafayette. I just think of Blondie from the movie with Denzel, the football movie.
Oh yeah.
But I'm drawing a blank on his name right now.
But
But
you look at.
Say again.
No, I say you look at the whole that batting lineup, and so Godbout is nationally ranked the number 1 second baseman, and
Yeah.
Arrojo, who we're talking about pitching, is also they got him ranked as number 8 first baseman in the nation. And I was looking back trying to see where different guys, because they've been doing the Division I rankings of players. You got the freshman Nunnally catcher. who is behind Ferenc. Not only he was drafted, I believe, by the Brewers, and he elected to come to Virginia instead.
Right.
Becker at shortstop. The
Yeah,
team is
Becker's up there, and I think he was ranked the number 9 shortstop. And I mean, we've just got options all over the place. We're deep, um, and they're going to score a lot of runs. We got
yes,
Wolfolt coming back on the
yep.
mound. If he pitches like he did at the end of the year,
Mhm,
all season, I mean, um, just super impressive what they did towards the end of last year. And I saw one poll where they had us number 1 in the country. Most of them have us anywhere from 2 to 5.
mhm,
Um, ACC came out today. We're the favorite to win the ACC, which is, if not the best, probably the second best baseball conference, maybe behind the SEC. I'm not really willing to give the SEC that, but you know they're a really good baseball conference as we are. So I mean, we just have a lot of talent up and down the order. But anyway, Big Donkey brand. He did a nice little preview on this Virginia team. And if Jeff, do you have it pulled up yet?
I
Or
can't get it pulled up. I should have. I didn't know. I didn't realize you wanted me to play it. I knew you
oh,
had
okay,
sent it to me. I watched it, but trying to. We'll just repost it on X for you guys to watch. It is just a short 4 minutes. It's a great video because it kind of goes right down the line with all the different players and who to look out for. Definitely a good one. Uh, to be honest with you, I guess I could have played it. In my brain, I was thinking, should I play this or should I have asked permission before I play his thing? But he put it on Twitter, so that's
yeah,
for
yeah.
public
I think we'd
consumption.
be fine to
I'm
to play
sure we
that one.
would.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
but it's about a 4 minute video. You can tune in, and we'll do more. Breakdown or in depth on the Virginia baseball team as we get closer to the season. But yeah, like you said, number 13 first place votes in the ACC. Top five, all the national polls have us inside that top five, like you were mentioning. You got Henry Ford. He's a top 100 Major League Baseball prospect. Um, and like you said, Didawick, the home run guy. The team is loaded. I mean, I don't know. I'd hate to be a pitcher facing this lineup.
Oh yeah.
And the
And I do
pitching,
want to
maybe.
give
Oh,
we
go
had
ahead.
a podcast reach out to us, Jeff. And I think you probably saw this on X in the messenger.
Yeah.
But there's a new podcast coming out it'll be a Virginia baseball specific podcast. And so they asked if, we could, kind of talk to their stuff. And I told them once they put out some videos, we'd be more than happy to talk to them maybe. But it's the Omaha's podcast. I don't think they put out a video yet. They're active on X, but not, I haven't seen any of their own content. So, but hopefully, I'm all for, some people look at it as competition or something like that. I look at it as it's more content for us because I like to, I mean, when I'm not doing this or researching something for this, I'm watching the ball hawk. I'm watching Preston Willett. I'm watching Jeff White, who, cuts from the corner. I like all that stuff. So, and I think probably most of the people that watch us probably like listening to that stuff too. So
And they help us with content, getting
for
getting
sure.
their stuff as well. No,
Yep.
it's all UVA love.
Yep.
And
Yep.
listen, if we're competing with all these guys, it's
Yeah.
bad news for the Cavalier connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're off the air. We're canceled.
We're embracing the pace.
Embrace the pace. Yeah. Yeah, definitely that's one you'll want to check out. And but yeah, baseball's coming up, and who's looking like they're ready for Omaha. I think they only they got a light road schedule this year too. I was
Yeah. No,
reading.
no North Carolina on the schedule this year. We missed
Mm.
them. Kind of disappointed with that, but
They don't like us and the Hill brothers getting together for anything, I guess. Um, but yeah, looking forward to baseball. Basketball Saturday against Virginia Tech. Um, El Jacko will be there covering the game. I think that one's a sellout. I think it's a sellout.
it is. Yep. Sold
And
out.
tune in to the locker room access. on Saturday evening after the game is over, and
They'll
you'll
probably
see
do a pregame and a halftime
they
as
will.
well, but
Yep,
I think we're just joining for the postgame.
post
So
game,
check out
post
all
game.
3 of their, game day pods.
So, real quick before we go, Dougie Fresh, I think in his brain invited us to come on to the post game because they want to compete against us. So they're
I'm
losing
sure.
listeners.
I'm sure that's what it was. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh man, no, I'm looking forward to joining those guys. I think they're going to come on with us here soon as well. Um, but Jay, you got anything else tonight before we wrap her
Nope.
up?
We're gonna wrap it up and return to our regularly scheduled activities.
Returning to regularly scheduled activities. Virginia basketball Saturday. Tune in and catch us live after the game on Locker Room Access. We'll see you guys on Saturday. Have a good rest of your week and go Hoos.
Go Hoos.